Yeah, family, get right back in here, man. You see, I got my hat on this time. I swear I got hella hats. I just don't be wearing them because I don't want y'all to try and say I look like teens, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro, because I got hair. And I ain't gonna lie, I don't think teens got nothing up underneath there. So we gonna put that out there. Shout out to teens, though, man. You already know. That's that guy. Shout out to Bush. But this came across my timeline just now, man, and I had to watch this because instead of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, these guys are like the Ultimate Cleveland Salt Show, the Ultimate Salty Snail Show, the Ultimate Salty Slug Show. These guys look hurt. G. Bush had to tell them about themselves. Without further ado, I can show you better than I can tell you, man. Hop in there. What are you talking about, bull?
But we're going to begin the second hour talking about Shedeur Sanders and the alleged trade rumors. G. Bush is going to join us for this conversation as well. Is he with us?
G is with us. Yeah, what's up, G? How you doing? First time I think he's ever called in as a guest of UCSS, but he wasn't here on Tuesday when we talked about the first round of Shedeur trade rumors. And we figured if we're going to be talking Shedeur trade rumors involving the Browns quarterback, we got to have our man G. Bush in the building. What up?
Hey, hold on. Why they looking like that? Why Bull look like that? Money. Bull, you don't look too happy. Jason fidgeting. Zach, he just like he happy to be here, but he don't want to talk about Shedeur. Look at this. Let's run him back.
G. Tuesday when we talked about the first round of Shedeur trade rumors, and we figured if we're going to be talking Shedeur trade rumors involving the Browns quarterback, we got to have our man G. Bush in the building. What up, G?
Hey, man, y'all got to step y'all energy up, bro. Y'all looking real sad, bro. It's a funeral. What's going on today, bro? Your energy is low. Y'all sitting around looking. Okay, so y'all good? Y'all all right, fellas?
We're waiting for you to help pick up the energy here.
Yeah, there we go. We got the energy back in the building. Right, let's ride. What we talking about?
Let's get into it.
Yeah, so earlier this week,
go ahead.
There was reports, rumors, whatever, that the Browns may be listening to trade rumors for Shedeur Sanders. Then yesterday, Jeremy Fowler of ESPN had this to say about the Browns quarterback. Quote, the Shedeur Sanders factor where, if he doesn't get the job, is he the right backup for your team? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe he is. And he is a young player, so he's got some time. I still go back to he was a fifth-round pick. I think if Shedeur were to lose the job, it would be interesting to see how he handles that. And if the Browns feel like maybe there's some tension there, maybe they do facilitate a trade.
Before he dives in, before G go ahead and give his point on this, I have to say, this is yet again, family, we have to take this into consideration. This is yet again another narrative out there that they have to put out there, right? The Sorsby thing is done, okay? The trade things are out of the window. Mary Kay already came and said they're not trading them, right? So now the next thing is, if they're not trading him, well, he would never take well to being the backup quarterback. You know, there would be a lot of tension there, and I don't think he'd handle it, nor his fans would handle it well. What? Didn't we see this last year? How he would handle being the backup quarterback? Hell, we saw how he'd handle being the fourth-team quarterback. He shut up and put his nose to the grind and got to work and did what he was supposed to do. All the things you said he wouldn't do. You guys tried at every chance to bait him in the media traps with your lines of questioning. You guys did everything you could to try and get this guy off kilter, out of balance, get him to come out of character. And did he do it once? No. Cook, G.
Mary Kay, in her column yesterday, had this to say about the possibility of the Browns listening to trade rumors and trade calls for Shedeur Sanders. Mary Kay said, quote, sources say nothing has changed in the Browns quarterback competition since the end of minicamp when Coach Monken declined to set his depth chart and revealed that he'll carry the two-way competition between Sanders and Watson into training camp. Teams might be asking about Sanders when talking to the Browns about other players, but they're not actively shopping their 2025 fifth-round pick and aren't soliciting trade offers. Again, that could change later in the summer if Watson wins the job, but the two-way battle is set to resume July 29th.
Narrative dead right there. Narrative dead right there with the trades. So now, like I told you, going back to the earlier conversation, now at this point with that being done and out of here, what do they have to do? Well, now, if he's the backup and Coach Monken names Deshaun the guy, We don't think he'll take kindly to that. He may ruffle some feathers inside of the building. He may cause a divide within the locker room. We've seen how Shedeur handles himself in the locker room when put in the exact same situation and a worse situation. When he was throwing the ball boys, when he was throwing more passes to D3 Baldwin Wallace in Cleveland, Ohio. When he was throwing more passes to D3 wide receivers. Did you hear about him making a rift in the locker room? No. So that's a non-topic. Go ahead, Cook, G.
G, when you see both of these reports in conjunction with what we saw earlier this week, what do you make of all the hoopla surrounding Shedeur Sanders and possible trade calls for the Browns' second-year quarterback?
Well, I don't really quite understand it because, from everything that we keep talking about, Todd Monken has been on record saying that he likes what Shedeur Sanders has done at camp. Andrew Berry's been on record saying that he likes his progression. He even actually went ahead and said he's a naturally a passer when it comes to his accuracy. He's naturally accurate passer. His quarterback coach has said, hey, man, listen, he's come miles and it's day and night. People talked about the gap that closed between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders from the first OTAs to the end, and then actually making this thing a competition by Todd Monken saying, I want to see him in pads. So to me, I don't know exactly where it comes from, but sometimes people say they want competition, and it seems like they run it away from competition.
Keep it a stack, G. What they're scared of is they know Watson is not the same Watson. All the reports have come out. Zach Jackson just said last week he been killing worms. I've never heard that said about a quarterback in life. Think about that phrase. He's killing worms with passes. Killing worms with passes. That's terrible. That means your passes are going into the dirt. You're missing wide receivers. And yes, we've seen the highlight reels on the shorts and on the reels that we post on YouTube and things of that nature where he's tossed it up and it's been a dime. But what we're not seeing is the interceptions. Remember when Coach Monken was talking about, it was ridiculous. We're throwing interceptions at 7-on-7. Who was he talking about? Deshaun Watson. So when we circle this thing all the way back to right now, right here, these guys want to have this conversation because they are so deathly afraid of Shedeur winning this job. Just look at the way those guys were sitting there. Gee, you had to address them. They were sitting there salty. Sick.
It does you no good. Why would you trade Shedeur Sanders and you've already invested this time, energy, and effort into it? Why would you get to the camp? Why would you get to the competition and say, nothing here to see. No competition. We'll just give the job to somebody else. I'm like, no. Todd Monken said, look, earlier this year, he said, look, we're going to let everybody take the test. I'm not going to crown the valedictorian in high school, but I find out 3 weeks later, well, actually, the valedictorian is the only person I got a chance to take the test. We don't know actually how smart she is compared to the rest of her class. So for me, I look at it like this. It's a great opportunity for those who really want competition. We all for it because may the best man win.
I don't think anyone is saying trade him now. Because first of all, I don't think there's any market for him. I think it's if he loses the job, do you want him as the backup? That's what Fowler was saying. That's what Mary Kay was saying.
What would be the problem with him being a backup?
Everything that went on last year. Do you really want to relive that?
What went on last year? What went on last year? Gee, asking what went on last year. I know you about to. I'm trying to get myself out the way because I know this about to be some fire. Let me get myself out the way. Let me get myself out of here. Cook.
Well, that doesn't really have anything to do with him. That has to do with the noise surrounding him.
But it absolutely has to do with the locker room. That's 100% has to do with the locker room.
Most people in the locker room, if you go ask his teammates, Tyson Campbell says highly great things about him. Denzel Boston, the young guys love him. I haven't heard one teammate yet come out and say, Shedeur was a distraction last year. As a matter of fact, I just keep hearing his teammates continue to say how much of a professional he's been, how much he continues to just go in and work. And all Todd Monken says is Shedeur is a worker. He comes in and he works. Now, I think one of the things that people get misconstrued is there's a lot of action on the internet. Yeah, so Shedeur is going to be the lightning rod off the field. So when you say Shedeur Sanders is going to be people on the left, people on the right, and they get contentious in them comment sections. But I think them comment sections ain't got nothing to do with Todd Monken.
Woo! G is cooking them. G is cooking
Monken
them.
looks like he's ready for the comment sections. As a matter of fact, he done provided a lot of a nice little quotes and different things like that. I think we get two things conflicted. We get what is Shedeur Sanders in the building to his coaches, to his teammates, to the people in the organization, and the things that surround Shedeur Sanders in the words and comments outside of the building in the internet spectrum, which can get a little back and forth.
When is the last time that a coach or teammate came out and said he's a problem, I don't like that guy?
So you hear how he tries to make it seem like, no. Jason Lloyd, man, you got to get over it, bro. You've got to get over it. It's all on your face. Look at his face. He look like he got a doo-doo. Look at his face. It look like he hurt. He's in pain. Like, this is terrible. This is nasty work, Jason Lloyd, man. Shout out to G, because G, a lot of people act like G don't be getting on him, but this is G getting on him in an articulate way. Getting on him.
On any player. In the
back and forth.
When is the last time that a coach or teammate came out and said he's a problem, I don't like that guy? On any player. In the moment.
Brandon Ayuk is taking the L right now.
Facts. Dang. Hey, off the head, G came with some quick, When's the last time a person's been a bow? That was a jab right to your nose. Brandon Ayuk, whop, take that with you. Brandon Ayuk, whop, take that with you.
And is he?
Have you seen?
And is he on the team? Is he going to be on the team?
Like, well, listen, he's.
The question wasn't whether he was going to be on the team. The question was, when was the last time somebody's been a problem in the locker room? Obviously, they said he was a problem in the locker room and he's not on the team. Has Shedeur Sanders been that type of issue inside of your locker room that you tried to make him out to be? No.
He's trying to force his way off there.
I'm just saying, like, people in the moment aren't going to rock the boat. There's no point.
I don't know. I mean, the whole conversation is crazy. All this talk about trades, like, first of all, I don't know that he has any trade value right now.
None of their quarterbacks have trade value.
They
Zach, do any of their quarterbacks have trade value?
No, I think we're talking about two different things here.
Yeah.
Right? When the thought of facilitating a trade or how this will go. I mean, the Browns might completely think differently of Shedeur Sanders, or he might be in a different place 6 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now than he is right now. And we don't know. And the team is optimistic about his chances. But it is 100% fabricated that teams are calling to trade for.
Tony Rizzo. This is the second person that has called Tony Rizzo out effectively. He just said you lied. Fabricating, that's a nice, tenderized way of saying you lied. This fabricated that people are calling, inquiring about Shedeur for a trade. So, Tony Rizzo, in the next day or so, I'm going to need a response, because this is the second person that called you a liar, brother.
6 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now than he is right now. And we don't know. And the team is optimistic about his chances. But it is 100% fabricated that teams are calling to trade for Shedeur Sanders. And even if they were, the Browns would say, why would we want to do that? He's competing for our starting job right now.
Sense.
So what might happen in late August is completely different than this absolute fabricated rumor that teams are trading for Shedeur, calling about Shedeur Sanders, because they're not. He was in the draft 15 months ago, and he lasted until pick 144. The Browns got him. The Browns should develop him. He's shown signs. He has a chance to get his career on track here.
Right.
No team is trying to trade for him, and nobody knows how it's going to go.
Right. It's completely ridiculous. We talked about this the other day, about the stupid rumor
and he should win the start. Like, he should be the starting quarterback. No one is just like, I would take him again. I would take him over Deshaun 1,000 times out of 1,000. But if they are adamant about starting Deshaun for whatever reason, and I don't know, like, that was all the indications we were getting for a really long time, was it was going to be Deshaun's job.
The same people that were saying it's going to be Deshaun's job are the same people like you that's saying Shedeur was the worst quarterback in the league. Just like what he just said about Rizzo's report, it's fabricated. You're fabricated. Simple as that.
Then I don't know why you keep him. Why do you keep him? They're telling you what they think about him. If they trade Myles Garrett and they start Deshaun over him, then why are you bothering to keep him?
Gee, let me see.
Okay, so they have it. It's an open competition. Let's get that out the way. It's an open competition. And What does Shedeur Sanders have to do with the Myles Garrett trade? So this is one line of thinking that everybody keeps saying, and it's really bugging me, that because the Browns traded Myles Garrett, that tells you what they think of Shedeur Sanders. Two things do not have to be true. Myles Garrett was discontented. Myles Garrett was not happy being on the Browns. Myles Garrett, as soon as Jim Schwartz didn't get the job, was ready to deuce out. So that has no bearing on Shedeur or the Browns' outlook on Shedeur. So that narrative has to be stopped in its tracks as well, because that's something that I've been hearing a lot, and that's just been circulating, and that has to be stopped dead in the water right there.
You agree with, let me see if you agree with this. If Deshaun does win the job, that's at least a partial indictment on Shedeur. However, Shedeur's journey in Cleveland or elsewhere is not over, correct?
Yeah, like if he starts, if Deshaun Watson, I've said it all the time, if Deshaun Watson comes out and cooks, and he's playing well and they start him, Shedeur Sanders will sit behind Deshaun Watson, wait his turn to see if Deshaun Watson, what happens with it. And when he gets his opportunity, he'll go there and play to the best of his ability. I don't think it's any different from what he did last year. He was fourth on the depth chart. We take a look at Kenny Pickett being ahead of him.
Thank you, G. We've been saying that. What is the difference if they gave Deshaun Watson the job this year from him not playing last year?
Blacker was ahead of him. Dylan Gabriel was ahead of him. He played last out of all those guys. And then when he got his opportunity, he had some ups, he had some downs, but he showed some promise. They give him some track record to get to the point to this year where his name can be mentioned as a guy that's going to go compete. So I don't think Shedeur Sanders has shown anything in his character, anything in his rhetoric, anything in his past that says if he's going to be the backup or does not win the job, he's not going to go around and what he's going to do, flip tables over? I don't think that's his personality.
He's not just showing that. Flip tables over. But to me, if they make the absurd decision to start Deshaun Watson, that's telling me all I need to know about what they think about Shedeur Sanders.
Absolutely.
That's how I see it. They don't think he's in. If you don't start him over Deshaun Watson, you don't think he's any good. What? There's no.
I'm going to give you one little gray area on that. Okay. And Todd Monken said this, and Travis Weisser, the offensive coordinator, said this. They said the play we will run more than any play we call is scramble. We know Monken had success with a mobile quarterback. The only thought and the only chance that Deshaun Watson has of winning the job is if they want to put in a run first offense, a scramble first offense, a mobile quarterback offense.
Right.
That's the only way that he wins it.
And
it's totally pointless.
Yeah.
The Deshaun Watson sunk the ship, and he's been sunk for years. The Browns need to play Shedeur Sanders and evaluate Shedeur Sanders, but that's the way that Deshaun Watson wins the job.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't think it's all or nothing hypothesis. I think that if Deshaun Watson is further ahead and he's better today, does not preclude Shedeur Sanders from still continuing on his journey, still continue to be in Todd Monken's offense and getting better. If he's been getting better from the point he was last year, and they say it's night and day, why would you then not think with more time and more resources and more time to sit and watch? Why wouldn't you believe that he can still take leaps and bounds and still continue to get better? That's
Cook him, G.
part of what being a young player is.
Because, G, if he's being honest about Shedeur improving, then Shedeur should play. Deshaun Watson's been a terrible football player for 6 years. He's not been any good for 6 years.
But these are the same people that advocated and told you that you needed to get return on investment, ROI. You should be searching for return on investment with Deshaun Watson. So hypothetically, let's just take this walk down this lane here real quick. Let's say we do want to get return on investment, right? Let's say Shedeur is better and Shedeur is even with Deshaun Watson. If we want to get some return on investment and we're not caring about the 26th season and how our results are, we don't care about playoffs, things of that nature, all we're worried about is 27 in the quarterback class, then okay, let's throw Deshaun out there for a couple of games just to see if he can show any flashes that potentially we might be able to get, a 4th round, 5th round pick for Deshaun Watson and some other additional traded value. Now, all of the same people that asked you and screamed, well, you got to start Watson, now they're saying if they start Watson, it's terrible on Shedeur. You can't win with these guys, man. You can't win.
And he's not going to be here next year.
Right.
He looked terrible in all the offseason camps. It's just crazy. To me, there's no
Pause. Bull. I know you coach baseball, boy. Did you take a foul ball to the eye, my brother? Because it looked like you got smacked with one on the right side. Yeah, that or you pop fly to your wife and she backhanded your goofy self, dog. What happened?
reason to play Deshaun Watson. It's just nuts at this point.
That is the reason you have a competition. Because right now what we're talking about is everybody's headcanon. Everybody thinks about this person or thinks about Deshaun or thinks about Shedeur. The great way to find out about these things in terms of a football player is actually putting pads on them, sending them out against an opponent, and then actually seeing how they do.
Right,
That's the problem when we talk football in June and July. There's no data. So what we want to do, the football people, we like data. I want to see Deshaun Watson in preseason. I want to see Shedeur Sanders in preseason. And guess who else wants to see it? Everybody in the organization and the team. So we can have a better assessment come in August when the class get on, and we can watch it all in front of the TV.
Gee, people got a little upset about the data last year. People were very worked up about the data.
Hey man, listen, I like data, man. I like the
People were upset because the data looked terrible on Dylan Gabriel, and yet you, Bull, Zach Jackson, your buddy over there, Jason Lloyd, kept telling us that the supercomputer was the greatest option. Joe Flacco, all of these guys, you kept telling us all of these guys were better than Shedeur Sanders. So when you say that little backhand comment, that's why G. Bush is giggling, because you guys were that. What are you talking about?
The data that says actually Shedeur Sanders is a better scrambler than Deshaun Watson. Did you see that graphic? I got that graphic. Yeah, yards per carry, scramble yards. I also like the graphic that Shedeur Sanders has thrown for 300 yards. You know who has not in the Browns jersey? Deshaun Watson. I like numbers.
Because
if you want to be talking about the numbers,
is terrible with football.
I'm just saying. I only can get a number.
Hey, yo, Cook G.
I can only get the numbers.
It's June 25th, 2026. Was the Browns quarterback room better a year ago than it is today, or is it in better shape now?
It's better today.
It's in way better shape this year.
Yeah.
Way better shape. First and foremost.
I thoroughly disagree. Last year you had a proven NFL.
What? You take Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders? You take that quarterback room over Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, Taylor Green, and Dylan Gabriel? You're smoking, Zach. Flacco's 42.
Starter. And Joe Flacco.
What Joe Flacco?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the reason why I think the quarterback room is better. Because I think you got a way better play caller calling the plays. You look at what Joe Flacco was here. He was a starter, and he struggled. They benched him, and then he went to Cincinnati and threw for like 600 in the first day. I said, dang, it's like that?
Good.
Hey, look, I'm just saying, I look at it like this. Dylan Gabriel got to play 6 games. So if Dylan Gabriel was a starter at some point, and now Dylan Gabriel is now the third quarterback fighting to be the fourth quarterback, that would mean that the new coaching staff believes that those guys ahead of him are better than him. Therefore, it would make it seem like the quarterback room is better.
Yeah.
Dang. Hey, G is on a heater right now. Why is G cooking like this, dog? Why is G cooking?
But they're not, because Deshaun Watson's just a terrible waste of time. Like, it just is.
Okay. Kenny Pickett was a terrible waste of time. What's your point there, Zach Jackson? With your little face. Look at his face. Look at that. What is this? Kenny Pickett was a waste of time. The same way you want to say Deshaun Watson was a waste of time, Kenny Pickett was a waste of time, and Kenny Pickett don't got any of the accolades Deshaun Watson has. Not in high school, middle school, elementary, not tying his shoes, chewing gum, kicking rocks, nothing.
It's just over for him.
I'm not, listen, hey, look, I ain't the Deshaun Watson. I put the cape on. I told you, man, listen, I said he was going to get 4,500. He ain't getting none of them 4,500. He got not one of them 4,500 yards. I'm still talking about that. But look, man, the thing that I am saying is I'm optimistic because of two things. I'm optimistic because I think a lot of these young players are going to take a leap from year one to year two. I think the offensive line is going to be better. I think the receiving core is better. I think the concepts are better. I think the maturation and the competition will push Shedeur Sanders in this camp. And I think, am I going to sit here and say that they're going to get 12, 13 wins? No, but can I imagine them getting 7, 8 wins and being highly competitive in some of these games and being fun to watch? Yeah, I could see that because I've seen some of the testament and already the early dividends in that, and some guys like Denzel Boston and the rest of the guys. So I'll see, but I do agree with you, Zach. I see no reason. To me, I would go with Shedeur Sanders. I would play him. You guys know that. But I'm also a former football player, and I understand about having to go out there and win your job and do it in front of your teammates to solidify in the coaching staff. So for me, let the competition begin, and I'm excited to see it.
And there you have it, man. Let the competition begin, and we're excited to see. The funniest part about it is these guys are willing to do anything to make Shedeur not the guy. Any angle they can spin it to where Shedeur is painted in a bad light, they're willing to do that. And we keep seeing it and we keep calling them out. But G was on one. G was out there, what'd you say? Huh? Brandon Ayuk. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I love what I heard today from G. G really stood on 10 with them boys today and let them know what was going on. My personal opinion, all of these narratives we told you is going to keep coming out of nowhere. They will continue to come out of nowhere. Be ready for it. But just be ready to call them out every time as well. Man, shout out to y'all, the viewer, man. I wouldn't keep doing it, man, but I appreciate y'all, bro, because y'all keep running me up, man, and God keep giving me the energy to do this, so I'm going to keep doing it, man. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments as far as who's going to win the job. Are they right or wrong? Was Zach Jackson tripping? Was Jason Lloyd tripping? Or was G. Bush tripping? Are we all crazy by thinking Shedeur is the best fit for the Browns right now? I don't know. You guys let me know, though. Hey, I got the hype button underneath there. If you don't punch the hype button, if you made it this far and you don't hit the hype button, like and subscribe, dog, just know we can throw them ones, man, for sure. Shout out to y'all, though.
Trying to break in the circle, they